Ugh. I'm looking at myself in this video and I'm like, man, I really should have ironed this shirt. But anyway, I have a review to do. And I'm going to be aging myself here because whenever I was a kid, there were two things that were certain during summer break. The first one was yard work. And a lot of it. And the second one was just an incredibly long road trip that we always took all the way from Georgia up to New York. And back in those times, kiddos, there wasn't really a whole lot there to entertain you. It's not like there were TVs on the back of the seat, or iPads, or telephones, or internet, or anything else. It was like look out the window and play I Spy, or play on the Game Boy. That was about it. And even on the little gray brick, there were only about 5 or so games that I actually enjoyed. You know, the RPGs. But chief among those RPGs was the Final Fantasy Legend series. So whenever I heard about the Secret of Varonis, I was ecstatic. And hey y'all, if you are new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe for some more great content like top 10s, news, and reviews, and smash that like button to show the love. And now, let me tell you all about this unabashedly retro-inspired classic. For those of you not in the know, the Final Fantasy Legend series on the Game Boy is actually the illustrious Saga series. In fact, they comprise the first 3 games in that series, and they introduced many of the series' staples, such as humans, espers, robots, and monsters, as well as being able to choose your own party, and an open-ended world free to explore at your leisure, as well as fun, fast-paced, turn-based battle systems where you can gain stats and abilities in combat based upon the actions that you take. The first game involves you gathering up treasures before climbing up a massive tower to paradise in order to confront God, while the second game refines the battle system, taking out a lot of the jank and greatly expanding upon the world, while the third game introduced a time travel mechanic, where instead of changing worlds, you travel through time, and rather than being stuck in predetermined classes, your characters can really switch around as you see fit. But David, you might ask, this is a review of Secret of Ronus. Why are you talking about those old-ass Saga games? Well, let me tell you. You can't really appreciate this until you know the history of those games because the Secret of Varonis wears its Saga inspiration on its sleeve. Right from the get-go, you're going to be choosing a party of 4 heroes from male and female humans and espers to robots and monsters. Then you're just like plopped into the city and let loose to go and do your own thing. Just like games used to be. I love it. You're told about the sealed city of Varonis, as well as 4 treasures that you need to gather in order to unseal it. Other than that though, you're really given no directions whatsoever, except that there is a town to the south, and in true Saga fashion, it is entirely up to you to find your way there. Once you make it there, you're then told about many other towns of the world from all the different NPCs wandering around, and you can begin gathering up clues to ascertain where all the treasures are located. If all this here is kind of sounding a little bit familiar, it should. The first world is pretty much a carbon copy of the first world of the first Final Fantasy Legend, and there's even a tower to the other worlds at the end of it. I love all the nods and references, it just makes my day. All the NPCs here have plenty of dialogue, and there's even named guest characters who will come and go and join up your party, just like in the last 2 Saga games. And not all those guest characters are like the nicest guys either, and there's one suspiciously named David who's actually like a complete bitch on wheels. I almost wonder if the developer is like sending me some sort of like subliminal message about that, but I guess I shouldn't think too deeply upon it. Whatever. Your characters actually talk to one another. Dialogue changes based upon the story. Some of the elders and the heroes trust you, some don't, just like in the real world. So you can really tell that a lot of time and effort went into making this game world feel really alive. But, while it is decidedly retro on its surface, do not be fooled. There is still a lot of modern quality of life features here too. Right at the start, you can choose the speed at which your dialogue appears, how fast you're able to walk, and how you want your encounters handled. Do you want the encounters to be completely random? Do you want the enemies to appear on screen? Or do you want fixed encounters? It is all completely up to you. Not only that, you can choose between classic or casual mode in battle. In classic mode, the Saga rules still apply, where you kind of like whiff after the enemies are defeated, like on the old NES games and again in those Game Boy games, and also your weapons will break once the charges have been diminished, just like in the older games. But in casual mode, all that's gone away. you automatically retarget, and resting at the inn will recharge all of your weapons, even your humans' weapons. And finally, there is a built-in hint system, where you can talk with your party members if you're unsure of what to do next. Now, let's talk about the battle system. Again, if you've played those Final Fantasy Legend games, you know exactly what you're in here for. This is a fast-paced, turn-based battle system just the way I like it. Normal, regular weapons will hit like one enemy, but certain special weapons and all magical spells will hit entire groups of enemies, which kind of appears like shadows behind the main enemy, so there is a visual indicator insofar as which enemies are single and which are groups, unlike the older Saga games. And once you've defeated an enemy, you'll be able to see its HP values the next time that you encounter them, which is such a nice feature. Also, each weapon is based upon a specific stat, which is clearly noted in the game. Swords, guns, and axes are all based on strength, while whips, bows, and rapiers are based on agility. And finally, stabs, books, and magic are of course based upon mana. After battle, monsters may drop meat, which you can then feed to your monster allies in order to have them evolve. But unlike in the original games, here you are shown exactly what you're going to be evolving into, and if it is a higher or lower tier monster. Not only that, but you can even give the monster meats to your espers too, and they may learn a new ability. Your espers can also mutate after battle, and then you'll be given a choice of what new spells that you would like for them to learn, or which stats you would like increased. It is no longer completely random. And I thought that this was like a really cool touch. If you don't want to use the meat, or you just don't have a monster in your party, or whatever, you can just immediately sell it and get some extra cash, so that meat is never wasted. The humans and the robots, though, they do level up a little bit differently. The humans work in the exact same way that they did in the first Saga game, where you have to go inside the shop and purchase those stat gain potions for them, while the robots gain higher stats based upon the equipment that they have equipped. The whole time that I played through this, I kept on having like flashbacks to my time playing the Final Fantasy Legend trilogy. And my god, the music! Whoever composed this did a masterful job. They had obvious inspirations from the originals. I mean, some of these songs are like dead ringers for those songs, and I am just here for it. However, I've gotta say, there were a couple of little things that I would knock it off for. I would say that I do feel that the encounter rate is just a tad bit on the high side, and that's even with the encounters on the screen. And I also do wish that there was like a world map feature. Many times I'd be going to the different towns, and I'd be wandering around and then be told by an NPC, hey, you need to go to this town. And I'd be like, oh wait, where's that one again? Or wait, where's that one dungeon that I need to go to again? It would just be so nice to have a map. Admittedly, it isn't like a huge deal considering that these maps are Game Boy size, but it would just be like a little nice quality of life feature. Maybe they can patch that to an update or something. So that's it for my review of The Secret of Varonis, released on the PC. How do you feel about it? Let's get a discussion going on here and let's all talk and chat about it, because I'm always in the comments too. And if you like what I do here on the channel, please head on over to the Patreon and sign up for early access to my videos, as well as behind the scenes photographs. The link to it is over in the video description. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.